Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We've got two animations to go through. We've got some beautiful still images to go through as well. So we'll hop right into it. So, a quick update on the lighting challenge. We do have a completion of the fur and materials. We are just working on bundling it up in one way that makes sense because we had it kind of piecemeal and it wasn't. So we're trying to make it like one file that you can download and everything's working well. So hopefully in the next couple days we'll have the lighting challenge completed and ready to kick off officially. Okay, so let's talk about Brenda's piece here. We have, and actually I'm going to hop back and forth a little bit between because we have the still images here as well as the render test. So let's go ahead and just as a reminder, we will take a look at the animatic first and just see the project play out in its entirety. So we have a female warrior on top there. She jumps down, does a cool tumble, sun rising. She then transfixes back into another form, where she emerges, and she's just in a much more zen-like meditative state. Okay, cool. So a really challenging shot because we got to hit a couple different moods, and it's kind of the camera's moving horizontally. It's a tricky thing to hit. So we'll take a look at this animatic just to see how we are processing this. So moving across, we've got this nighttime scene. Sun is starting to rise up there over the hills. It reaches. It fully pops up as we get that back, as she goes back behind there. Step out into here. All cool. All right, great. So let's take a look at the reference images as well. I believe I have those uploaded too. Did I get those uploaded? Oh, we'll do that real quick. Oh, I could have swore I had it. Oh, I lost it. All right, Brenda, I'm sorry I don't have your reference images up, but we do have your updated versus the previous. So let's go ahead and take the previous and take a look at this. I think that this part of the image showed the most improvement because we are darkening the background. We're really focusing in on the foreground. We're allowing this color scheme to really stand out. I love that we're able to see a little bit of this guy down here. Like he definitely reads. I think we can go. Do you see how the light's kind of wrapping around this character on the front side? I think we can do that a little bit more with her. I don't think we necessarily, because her face is already hidden, so we don't need to use lighting tricks to kind of hide her because she already has a garment that does that. So I think we can wrap this light around her just a little bit more and pick up a little bit more on the on the front of her. And really, because what we really want to do is really read the entire pose and make that like a nicer outline with the rim light. So a little bit more of like a softer fill on the front, and then really use the rim light to kind of just get the edge.
Okay,
really
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then, I like the values overall. We might even be able to go a little bit darker back here out of the gate, and then just have it lift up a little bit as she starts to move over there.
Okay.
Let me go a little bit of the timer too. And then, oops, sorry for the fire truck there. And then for this one, again, same huge improvement. Like just much more dynamic. It makes much more sense with the transition. I think having that stuff and the being pushed back there to the background looks good. I think watching the water, I think that was working out pretty well. I like this kind of bounce light coming up at her from underneath. I do think that there is a little more room to get some more darker. I think we can get some more darker values in the hill that's kind of towards the base of it and then allow it to fade off a little more. It's a little bit consistent as far as that goes. And I think that we should keep the darkers a little bit dark a little while longer and then allow that to fade up there. And then in terms of light coming around. I think that actually works pretty well. Let me go back into this. Let me see this again. A little more light wrap around her. Read that silhouette. She jumps up. So this is going to be tricky, but this is good, but it would be great. So she jumps up here. Again, this is all motion blurry and low res, but up here you're gonna want to try and also get that that rim light effect to really just, because you're going to want to read that outline of her shape. And then she comes down.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one, it's actually more important that we get the pose right in here, because this is where she's static for a little bit. In through here, we get pretty frenetic. So I think, in terms of this, with her looking back, I would get her back a little bit darker here, and make it more about like her looking off into this space, right? Because by this being a little bit darker and kind of emphasizing the light on the front side, it's more about it going back that way. And I think we can get away with that a little bit more, because it's like we could theoretically be like, oh, she's in that darkness here, and then it's more about the light coming in. Then she runs across here, and then pops up back here. And then in terms of this last section. And after I get done with this, I'll open this up to see what other thoughts are. I think in this last section, I like it a lot. I think you hit a lot of the notes that we were talking about, getting the light scraping across. There's one thing I noticed in the animated version of it, that there is like some green values that are hitting the back of her head. And once she gets into this, to this garment, into this look, I think she should only kind of be hit by warm light. I think it should all be about that kind of contrast of her being kind of cooler with like harsher rims here at the beginning, and then as we get to the end, it's all like soft, kind of monochromatic, warm lights that are very embracing and very soothing. Her garment looks great. Did you do that? Did you create the garment?
Yeah.
Really beautiful. I think that's going to work really well. Yeah. Like that kind of like silk speckiness coming out here, that you really get a sense of the material, and that's really nice. But yeah, keep her warm in through here. Even though she's like getting bounced up from the grass and stuff, if you could neutralize that a little bit or warm that would be great.
Okay.
All right, let me open it up. What do you all think? Are there any other notes, any other thoughts coming in on this one? It's very cool. I was just looking at one thing too. I guess it makes sense because the moonlight's coming in this way, but I was looking at I was kind of expecting the shadows to go more this way because of that light, but I guess that's okay. It's like the moonlight coming in, so we go that way. It's up here, it's down here. I think your timing on the mood shifts is good. I think it's really good. We'll see it as we play it out more. But yeah, let's look back at this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think maybe this might be a little bit too saturated. I would take the saturation down on this like this fill color just a little bit.
Okay.
But I think otherwise that's good. Yeah, that's all I got. I think for this one for right now. I think it's looking really nice. Cool. All right, great. All right, let's hop over into we have a submission from Friday. So this was from Jason, and we talked about this a little bit the last time. The big things that we were working on from the last iteration were making sure to get more iterations or more interactions between the sparks and the explosions and the characters, and then also the other thing was making sure that, because there were a couple parts where we can see that there's like a gap there, and it kind of feels like there's light coming up, but it's not like, it's kind of not so like it's not all that look isn't all the way there yet. So we talked about getting some brighter elements down here at the bottom to really kind of feel that light source coming up around the sides, and then that haze and everything will kind of make sense. The light on the hitting that character is looking really good as they're going away. I still think that she needs a little bit of kind of a pop of light from that spark that kind of goes around her. I think a little bit more, because it's like, and I'm looking at it because I thought it, like, if you just like look at her back, it doesn't really, nothing really gets darker as it fades away. And I think that would be a really good opportunity to have like this light happen, this be a pop, and then as it goes away to really pull back the light on her to allow when these things start to glow then they'll really pop out a little bit more. And I think that the white elements on her garment that are glowing should go brighter. Because I think, like, I really feel that these are glowing bright. I don't feel it on these. I think that those can keep getting pushed up a little bit. Any other thoughts on this one? Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Hey, just with the ending shot, when she's standing in the hallway, and I know it's quick, but I feel like maybe she disappears too much because she goes bright and then she goes dark and there's no light illuminating her at the end, so you're not really sure where you should be looking at that shot.
I think, and it's up to you, but I think we should make sure that we might just want to keep her in this state throughout, or if we do that, allow this light to really kind of silhouette her, or maybe some of these from the sides to get a little blue in here and in here. But definitely allow her silhouette to pop out a little more at the end. That's really good, Kat. All right, cool. All right, let's hop over into our stills a little bit. So we got Brenda, Diana, and her not safe for work image of this woman. The joke is that our Discord server tried to block this image because it was too risque. So Diana, this I've talked to you about this in private. I think that you have this superpower of taking very simple design characters and creating robust textures for the skin. I think, again, you've got these freckles on the nose, the light subsurface on the tip of the nose. I think her lips look really good. The little bits around her ear look really nice. You've also mastered stylized hair and getting that to look good. I think that you're probably doing your trick again where you're stretching, you're stretching a noise pattern in the direction of the hair itself.
Yeah, for this one, it was actually the first time that I did something like procedurally in Maya for the hair. It was just like a bunch of mixed patterns.
Yeah, it's looking good. Like it's just meant to get that directionality of the hair and just kind of like the flow of it. I think, and this could, I like the blue eyeshadow. I feel like it could probably wrap around a little bit more, but I could be wrong on that. I would need to look at some reference on that. For the character herself, I think there's a few things that I would do, and I'm looking at this now. I'm in a bright room, so this might, but I think we can push her a little bit brighter, just like a touch more. Kind of overall, like, because we feel it that she's in this dark room, but I think the tops can get a little bit brighter, and then for me, I want to see, because we've got this light kind of coming down. This is good in here. I almost want to see a little bit of like a specular highlight on her cheekbone. I want to feel that cheekbone a little bit more. And then this side's looking really good. Yeah, that's just some good shaping in there. I also think her iris, especially on this key side, can get a little brighter.
I think her ear looks a little flat texture-wise compared to the rest of her. Like, it kind of looks like a cookie. Like, it's very... There's not any subsurface really to it. It's just... It doesn't look as fleshy, so to speak, as the rest of her face.
I wonder if... Because I am seeing... You might not be able to see it. There's a little bit of subsurface kind of creeping through the top of her ear because there is a top-down light on her. I'm wondering if it's more shadowing on this inside part. Like, if we... Let's see if I can do this a little more. Come on, close up.
Yep, that did it.
No, but I'm wondering if, just having a little bit more... like shadow. Oh, this is kind of a dirty gray shadow, but let's see. Yeah, that might help a little.
Yeah, it was just everything else looked so... It had so much variation in it, and the ear was very, like, Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. I mean, Diana, overall, of course, this looks great, and I think it's looking really lovely. I just some like super minor things, and then maybe a little more gamma out of the screen right eye. I mean, but I love this like little bit of light on her teeth. The teeth value is really good. Your shaping is just on point. Like, look, like her neck right there feels it's perfect. Like you get the shaping, you feel the collarbone, you feel the speckiness of the skin. It's all looking really good. I didn't even talk about the microphone. I just think the microphone looks good. I think it's just like done. Just check it. Just ignore it. Work on the rest of it, and we're good. Do you have any questions? Are you feeling pretty good about this?
Yeah, I think I'll play with it. Well, yeah, I like the character, but I just need to work on the set a little bit. I'm not really sure because
it's up to you. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think it depends on what the end game is for this. If this is like, is this just the still of her? Is that the end product, or is this animated, or what are you feeling?
Yeah, it moved. She moves. She's a singer.
Oh, got it. I don't think you need much more than that on the background. I mean, if you wanted to create like a little bit like a feeling of the light coming down from the upper screen right side, and just kind of like falling across a little bit, like a little bit more of a gradient. But I'm not.
There's another image in the lighting channel.
Oh.
That, like the first part of the video, kind of.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. I ignored that because I was like, oh, I thought because you emailed this over.
Yeah, there's
This
that
one?
one where it's a little bit different, but the set is kind of super ugly.
I see. Yeah, that set is kind of super ugly at this point. But I think here it looks great. I think it might just be a matter of, because there's kind of it's hard to see, but there's kind of like a weird transition in there.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we just need something to block that, to go from this to that. And then in this one, her eyes. I don't know much about eye makeup, but I feel like that it almost feels like cut off here. Like it would be more in here a little bit more than just
The purple.
yeah, the purple. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean the microphone part, again, not to focus on a dumb thing, but like that looks like soul. Like that looks really good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did.
Isn't that funny how that works sometimes? You're like, I don't know what the hell I did, but I nailed it.
Oh, nice.
That's good. Yeah, cool. Cool stuff, man. All right. Kelvin. See, we have we've got your reference here. We have the previous version and we have the update. Okay, so good update, good improvements. I like it. I'm looking at this. It really, like this one, I really, really, really get a sense of a light source that's strong at the core and kind of fades off as it goes down the end and is kind of back behind it. The thing that I'm seeing in here is like it's just like the dark values between them. It's just like so what I think you should do is add a subsurface a subsurface shader to that to really kind of get, like, because you want it to kind of glow from the inside. And then if there's any variation that we can work on it, like it might be a matter of just messing with the scale or even affecting the like maybe doing the geometry, because that, like, having it brighter around the core and then get a little bit less so as we get to the edges, like as it goes bright here and then less so. I think that's really, really powerful.
The reason if you go back to the update there, the reason it looks like, you can see on the parts that are hanging down there, where those are brighter, but like in between is actually darker, which is kind of the opposite that we want.
Right.
It's basically lit by a point light that's above it. That is a subsurface scattering shader. It's lit by a point light above it.
Okay.
And basically those are like, shaped like a U, right? So the bottom part is lit by that light, and I couldn't get it to sort of glow from where we want it to go because it's like open on the top, if the actual mesh was closed off, then it could maybe glow the way we want it to, but it's just sort of not the way that it was made.
You could also do it with like if you could get inside this mushroom with a point light, or I'm sorry, with a spotlight shining down, and then just have like the edges be that. Do you know what I mean? Like by feathering the edges. You could possibly get that. It's a really tight squeeze in there, but you might be able to do it.
What do you mean by feathering the edges?
Oh, by increasing the edge angle and the penumbra angle. And so basically it would be like you would position the spotlight here. You'd get the main cone of the light going like this. And then again, that will illuminate kind of this area as being super bright. And then you've got the area that gets feathered as you go off to the edge. Like I said, by controlling the edge angle and penumbra angle. So that like this core area around the central part of the mushroom gets really bright. And then it gets less so as we go off to the sides.
Oh yeah.
It could work.
I think that it would still be dark in the bits where it's dark there. Like I tried putting a point light like right in the middle there and expanding the radius to get a similar effect there where it glows outward.
Mm-hmm.
But it still has that sort of issue where it's dark in the crevices there.
Let's see.
Is there a way to make maybe just select a few meshes and make them like a small, like a low level emission mesh?
I would
So
avoid.
make the mesh
Yeah,
itself glow a little bit?
I would avoid doing that because those can get really noisy.
Yeah.
But I think. So I'm surprised if this is subsurface that we're not seeing more of that, like the way that like in Diana's we get the little reddish glows.
I think it's because like on the top of those basically those meshes are basically just like an extruded long U, and on the top of that U it's not closed off.
Extended long U, and on top of the U it's not closed off. Okay.
Like you know how those are like a bunch of U's, you know? That makes sense.
No, it does.
If the top of that U was like closed off with another face, then I think that it wouldn't darken. It would like glow through that, you know?
Can you add a face in that? Or
Not
maybe
really,
put like
because
a plane?
I tried doing that on each of those, but it would be like one face with four corners along. There's like a bunch of different vertices along the length of that, so it's pretty messy.
Well, let me think about that.
I could sort of show you what I mean by going in for tomorrow and take a picture of the inside of the mesh.
Yeah. If you could do that, that would be great. Because because like getting that is going to be so crucial to this being a really amazing image, and so I want to explore every option of getting there. In terms of the rest of it, I think the rest of this is looking really good. Some of these, like the like here and here are getting
darken a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit bright.
Okay.
It's just those bright because it's like it's against this dark background, especially this one. It just feels like my eye kind of pulls down there. And then for the girl, I think that she can go brighter and a little warmer.
Okay.
Like I think maybe
just on her front or overall.
Mostly on her front, but like in terms of the brightness, it would be from the mushroom light. That would be illuminating her more. And then in terms of her value wise, I think probably overall we could go a little bit warmer with her.
What do you think about her darks there, just on her side? Do you want to keep from lifting those, or do you want to lift everything and lower the contrast a bit?
Let's try lifting everything and see what that does. I'm let's see, so a little bit more like that. I was reluctant to say it because we do want to keep some contrast on her, just because she's so small and like on frame. So maybe let's try lifting her with the light kind of overall, and then if we have to, we can dial in some a little bit more contrast there. But yeah, something like that.
I actually lowered the HDRI on her just a bit because I'd noticed that she was a little bit less contrasty than I wanted, but
that might end up being the case. I'm really surprised, and I'm looking at your reference here, that there's not more influence of this light onto the ground, but that's fine by me.
on the ground. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is so bright right there that I would expect it to go like, and that's like, an inch. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know how they made this image at all. Yeah. But yeah, I think
it looks real.
I think it is. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. It feels real. Yeah.
If it's like photoshopped or something, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's any glowing mushrooms that glow that brightly in nature, but
I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this one? I think the fuzzy, the mossy stuff looks really good.
yeah, I spent days on that.
It genuinely shows. It genuinely is like I was like because it doesn't feel like you spent days on it. It feels like holy cow, I don't know how he did that.
Yeah, I used to like playing with the particle systems in Blender a lot, so I spent a few days on learning Mash in Maya.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, I think it's great. Any other thoughts before we close out for the day, guys? Yeah, looking
You still
good.
have mine in there to do too.
What's that, Kat?
I don't think we've hit mine.
Oh, wait. Oh, yes. Sorry. Where'd yours go? Oh, I didn't open it. Yes. Sorry.
It's okay.
I saved it. I swear I did. That's right. I just didn't open it yet. Okay.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, Kat, let's talk us through. What this came in late in the game, so I can get a chance to see. What are we updating? What do we got?
I added point lights in the pumpkins so they look more like candles are in there. I cheated with making the left side darker. I just put a plant in front of it, but it looks darker now. And then I messed with the shader in the path. So I took the roughness map and attached it to a couple different parts of the shade of the BSDF shader. So I tried to crank up some of the specularity and the roughness to make it a little shinier, and then I added another little light to it and played with it a little bit. So, and then I pulled down the saturation on the cat's eyes, and I fixed the depth of field is annoying me, but I think it's just because it's a wider angle lens.
Yeah.
But I think I got it better. It seems more focused on him and less because it's like the ground in the front of the camera was really in focus, and so was the bricks. But it's like I wanted him to be more focused, so I'm playing with that.
Yeah, because I think that like this line that I'm seeing back there, like deep behind the house, I think that could be a little blurred, but I think the rest of it's probably, or maybe that tree there too, that darker one.
A little more blurred or less blurred?
Yeah, more blurred. Yeah. I think the pumpkins look really good. I'm wondering overall. Just seeing this, I think we can probably push the overall brightness of the image just a touch more. I think that, like,
and I put a spotlight on the bat's face. That was the other thing you wanted.
Yeah, that looks better. That might be a little bit saturated red. Maybe just pull back the saturation like 10%, and then I love the. I think one thing that you should do now is I love the rim lights on this cat up here. I think that looks really cool. I would just make some rim lights that are only attached to these cats to get a little bit like I think you should get a kind of a warmer rim on this side and maybe a cooler rim on this side, and then same thing with maybe cooler on this side and warmer on this side. I just like seeing those rims on those dark cats. I think they're cool.
Okay.
If
is the path better? Because I don't. That's okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that looks better. I think if you could also get some more bump on the wing itself, because it feel like I love the specularity on it. It's starting to feel like a plastic bag that's being stretched.
Okay.
So it's just like a little bit too perfect of a of that. So it might just be a matter of increasing the bump on that. The rest of it's good. What do you guys think? Open this up.
Silence is good.
Yeah, silence is good. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, and we'll take a look at that after the next iteration. Thank you guys for joining in today. Good work all around, everybody. And I will see you all tomorrow.
All right, take it easy.
All right, be good, everyone. Take care.